Hello, and welcome to another episode of Minus 4 Points with your boy, Amric. As you can see from my depressed, defeated, and deflated stance, it's another episode of How Not to Play FPL. This is our Game Week 16 preview video, people. 2 videos ago, I made a How Not to Play FPL because I had such a bad week. And then last week was good. We were on the road to recovery. We had a good week last video. I was in a more cheerful mood. This week, we're back. So it's volume 2. How Not to Play FPL, volume 2 for the season. I mean, my worst week. I mean, terrible. Terrible. So we'll be finding out exactly how bad I did, who's on my watch list, and my team for Game Week 16, which hopefully is going to reverse this trend of just slumping. But we'll see, people. We'll see. So let's stop crying. I did that before camera. Let's get on with it. Let's show you how bad I did last game week in Game Week 15. Here's the shambles. There it is, people. There it is. This is how I did in Game Week 15. This attempt to play fantasy football is how I did last game week. 38 points, terrible score. That's why it's volume 2, second worst week of the season. So in the space of the last 3 game weeks, 2 of them have been my worst weeks of the season so far. So I'm in a bad place. I'm slumping. I'm blaming Kane and Ronaldo and spending all my money up front. Let's get on with it, shall we? 38 points. Let's look at this shambles. Sanchez in goal, 3 points. Trent, one of the few players who delivered for me. So, Trent, thank you for trying. Livramento, 2 points. Alonso and James doubled up on Chelsea defense. 1 for Alonso, 0 for Reece James. And yeah, he played. Salah, 12. Again, 6 points for Salah. Not that great considering it's Salah and what we expect of him this season. Jota, 3. Great transfer in. Transferred in Jota, 3 points. Gallagher, 2. Allen came off the bench for Smith Rowe. Smith Rowe injured. Great. Another problem. How not to play FPL. Allen, 2. Up front. Ronaldo, 2. Kane, 2. And at least I just did 1 transfer. However, if I had have done a second transfer, I wanted to do a -4, but you know your boy. I've been trying this really hard this festive season. That's what the backgrounds are a reminder of. To not do -4. I didn't take a -4 in the last 2 weeks. I would have brought in Bernardo Silva as my -2 this week. Because I'm not happy with Gallagher. He's playing in a deeper role. I would have brought Bernardo Silva and it would have been worth it. It would have been worth the -4 point hit. So I'm cooling off the not doing -4s in December. I'm going back to the old tried and tested, do a -4 if it strengthens the team and it will be worth it. You got to take a risk, especially me. Look at this. Overall rank has plummeted down to this I'm in the 600k place. I was at 100k towards the beginning of the season. It's just gone down so fast. I've got to change this. I've got to change the momentum. So maybe I'll have to do -4s and here and there to try and turn it around because it's not working right now. So that's how I did last week. It is a red arrow. It's very frustrating. This is how not to play FPL, people. Don't put all your money in your strikers, especially this season. How was I to know? My transfer this week, spoiler alert, will be finally breaking up the expensive striker plan. So maybe that's how I reverse my fortunes and get back. So the watch list this week is a little bit different. Something interesting I'm doing. Basically, my watch list this week is going to be the exact same as last week. And I'm going to explain why and how the players who I'm watching last week are basically the exact same players I want to bring in this week. So let's take a look at my watch list for this coming Game Week 16. So here's the watch list for Game Week 16, and it's the exact same watch list as last week. Now, what I want to say is I've done 1 transfer. I'm doing one transfer this week so far. It might change because Tottenham's game could be called off because they've got loads of players with COVID. So if Tottenham's game is called off, it doesn't affect my I'm going to tell you, I've taken Kane out. No surprise. A lot of people have taken Kane out because Harry Kane has just not been delivered, doesn't look interested, walking around the field. Son looks like the only lively attacking threat for Tottenham. So Kane was my transfer out this week, brought in someone else who's not on this watch list. So this is my point about FPL. You can have a watch list 1 week and you're convinced these are the 5 players you want to bring in. And then the very next week, you bring in someone completely off the watch list. And you go, and you still are left with those 5 players that you want to bring in that you have to delay bringing in by another week. So Kane's out, another striker's in that isn't on this list. So the reason why my watch list is the exact same is because I want to bring in a Watford striker, either Dennis or King. So Dennis represents one of those two on the watch list. And that hasn't changed. Their price is so good and their fixtures are okay. And even when Watford's fixtures aren't good, you could just have a cheap one on the bench. So that's something that I'm going to be working towards. I don't want to take any -4 point hit to bring in a Watford striker. So that's something that when I have the luxury of being able to do, I'll try and bring in a Watford striker. So that hasn't changed for me. Reguilon still hasn't changed for me. What's put me off now is this Spurs possible COVID outbreak. And it could mean they miss this coming game against Brighton and they might miss another game against Leicester. So if they miss 2 games, that's going to put on the hold. The other player who's on the watch list is Son. So Reguilon and Son, exact same position. I want to bring them in. However, the COVID outbreak means it's ridiculous to bring in a Spurs player right now when they're not guaranteed to be playing the next 2 games. So hold off on Spurs if you can. If you haven't got them, you might need to take them out. That's another reason that helped me in taking Kane out. Mason Mount had another good game, looks lively, scored again at the weekend. He's still on the watch list. Now, I've done another transfer this week because I had to get Harry Kane out. I had to change my philosophy of this season being too big up top. First, it was Ronaldo and Lukaku. Then it was Ronaldo and Kane. I have to change that strategy. So Kane's coming out, so I can't bring in Mason Mount this week. Again, he's still on the watch list, so the watch list hasn't changed from last week. Tony, again, he's not the striker I brought in for Kane, just because the player I brought in was a little bit different. However, he's still on the watch list. I need to take the money out of my strikers and put them elsewhere. So I'm looking for cheap strikers. That's why Watford strikers are on my watch lists. That's why Tony's on the watch list. They are the cheapest strikers who seem the most promising long term. Yeah, they'll go games without scoring. They'll have blanks, but at their price, you can afford blanks. With Kane and Ronaldo, you can't afford blanks. You need them to have solid fixtures and be in form. And Kane's not in form and his fixtures are turning a little bit. So the last one's Gundogan. I still don't have any Man City midfielders. I really want to bring either Foden, Gundogan, or Bernardo Silva in. But they're just rotating in terms of who it seems to be. It seems like Bernardo Silva is the one to go for at the moment. However, I mean, Gundogan seems to be playing a lot. And I just wonder with Bernardo Silva, is this a sort of just a streak for him? Because in previous seasons, Bernardo Silva was never this sort of De Bruyne type figure where he was dominating all games, scoring all the time. He goes through phases. So I don't know if this is just a long phase for him. I'd like to bring him in because I don't think it is. My gut is telling me Bernardo Silva is one of the most underrated players in the world. And I think he is the one to get. However, that's why that's still on my watch list. Gundogan, Foden, Bernardo Silva. One of them I want to bring in at some point. I haven't done that this week. These were the players on my watch list last week. Last week I had Ronaldo and Kane, who I was a bit more optimistic about. So I was keeping them both for one more week. Kane had Norwich. So I didn't bring any of these players in. It's a disaster, people. So these players are still on my watch list. I've done a different transfer. Let's find out who my transfer is on this week's episode of How Not to Play FPL Volume 2. This is my team for Game Week 16. So this is my team for Game Week 16. I'm hoping we reverse our fortunes. I need to turn the tide. I've done one transfer so far. Kane out, Antonio in. Now, Antonio is someone who I kind of wasn't thinking about. You saw my watch list this week. It's the same as last week. I was thinking maybe I'll take Kane out for a Watford striker or Tony. However, this weekend, West Ham beat Chelsea and looked so good. The weekend just gone. And it got me thinking, West Ham looked really good. Like, really good. Like, they gave Chelsea such a good game. And Antonio got an assist. Now, it wasn't the best performance from Antonio, and the assist wasn't, like, great. However, he got a return. And then it made me look at West Ham's fixtures and go, well, maybe I don't bring a Watford striker in. Maybe I don't bring Tony in. Let's take a closer look at Antonio. Now, he's been blanking for a while. His price has dropped. I'm buying him on the dip. That's what they say in the stock market. You buy on the dips and you sell on the highs. I'm kind of hoping for the same thing from Antonio. I've looked at his fixtures now. The West Ham game made me re-look at their fixtures and go, well, some of these greys are actually greens. And some of these greens are really greens. And these reds, maybe if they can beat Chelsea like they did, maybe these reds that they've got coming up aren't as tough as we think. So I'm kind of going with Antonio, partly because everyone else is going for Watford players and Tony. So Antonio's price dropped this week. So I'm partly thinking I want to get someone who's a little bit different, a little bit of a differential, because I need to start taking risks to kind of get back up. I can't just stick with Dennis or King like everyone else seems to have gone for this week. So we're going Antonio for Kane, which with Spurs having this difficult, maybe they don't play this weekend, it might mean I need to do another transfer. So looking at my team, Sanchez is in goal. Now he's due to play Spurs this weekend. If the game is postponed, I'm waiting until the deadline. I'm going to possibly wait until the very last day, or if I'm recording this on the Wednesday. So if on Thursday we get an update saying the Spurs game is definitely cancelled, I think I need to do a -4 to get Sanchez out, because that's a player who's going to be giving me 0 points. And if I can just bring in a goalkeeper who has a slight chance of a clean sheet, that pays for the -4 very quickly. So Sanchez could be, if the game goes ahead, but this is another reason why I'm delaying and not doing the transfer now. I'm going to wait till the very last moment, because if the game does go ahead, Spurs are going to be heavily weakened, and that might help Brighton. So I might want Sanchez in goal for that game. So we're going to wait and see on that one. Sanchez in goal against Spurs. Maybe I'll do a -4 to take him out. Maybe I won't. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at -4 points. I'll keep you up to date with my final teams and my final thought process. Trent, Livramento, James and Alonso. Now, with Chelsea, it's getting to that stage of the season where I don't know what Tuchel's going to do. I don't know if he's going to start rotating. In the Champions League, Saul started for Chelsea, so I don't know if that means Alonso's out, if Alonso's just being rested for the league. I hope it's that one. However, we don't know what's going to happen. So James and Alonso, if they both play, Leeds are very weak at the moment. It's a good game for them. Livramento, Arsenal away. I'm not overly confident about that. However, my other option is Johnson, who's injured on the bench. So Livramento's got to play. Salah will be captain in midfield. Jota will play. Smith Rowe is another injury doubt. Now, he missed the last game week. I'm going to see what Arsenal do midweek, what their press conferences they say. If we get an update on Smith Rowe's injury, if Smith Rowe is out for a while, that could be another transfer I'm tempted to do, because my bench isn't great. I've got Allen, who seems to just give 2 points. Johnson's injured and Gelhardt doesn't play. So if Smith Rowe's injured, I've not really got an option off the bench. If I play Sanchez in goal, I could talk myself into doing a -4 by taking Smith Rowe out for possibly a Manchester City midfielder. We'll see how that goes. I'd like not to do that move this week. I'd like to get my Man City midfielder next week, because they've got Wolves, and Wolves proved this week just gone that they're solid. Wolves are not an easy game. Man City probably won't thrash Wolves. If they win, it'll be a close game. So the Man City midfielders might not be guaranteed attacking returns. So as much as I want Bernardo Silva, as much as I see his price going up and up and up and up, it seems like every day Bernardo price is just shooting through the roof. I'm just going to have to wait, not think about the prices, and just get him when it's right. And if Smith Rowe is fit, it's not right to get a Man City midfielder this week. Gallagher, again, I want to get Gallagher out. However, I've got other fires to put out. Gallagher's playing deeper, but he does have Everton. Hopefully he can get an assist. He still takes set pieces. And up front, it's Ronaldo, who's got Norwich away, and Antonio, who comes into the team ahead of a great run of fixtures for West Ham. So West Ham in form. That's my thinking behind bringing Antonio in. Squad value is now dropped to 99.7, but by taking Kane out, it now gives me 4.3 million in the bank to spread around the team. So I don't have to go so heavy up front. I can eventually get a Man City midfielder. I can eventually get Cancelo. I can eventually possibly get Ramsdale in goal. Basically, all the reasons why I've fallen so far behind. Hopefully I can address those in the next few weeks by having money now and not going too big up front. So that's my team for Game Week 16. I hope that my next -4 points video is not how not to play FPL Volume 3. I hope we stop at Volume 2 this week. We can't do much worse than last week, surely. Surely, come on FPL Angels, bless me with some better form. So that's my team for Game Week 16. Let me know in the comments. Let me know on Twitter and Instagram what you think of my team. And for you, I hope your weeks are going better than mine. You can keep watching my videos as a how not to guide. Good luck with your Game Week 16s, and I'll see you next time.